As we all know, the WWE Draft starts tonight on live SmackDown, and well, I thought I'd do the interactive WWE Draft game on WWE.com and place all 52 superstars that are listed on here on either Raw or SmackDown. Before I get started, I'm pretty sure, because I haven't done this yet, that the NXT superstars, because they said there's going to be 6 drafts from NXT, I'm pretty sure that they're probably not going to be on this game, so I'm just going to list the NXT superstars that I think are going to get drafted before I get started on this. So I think American Alpha, Chad Gable, and Jason Jordan are going to go as 1. Finn Balor, Bayley, Ty Dillinger, Nia Jax, and probably like some sort of surprise draft like No Way Jose. I don't think Samoa Joe's going to go over because he's still the NXT champion, and he's got this program with Shinsuke Nakamura coming up, who I also don't think is going to get drafted. Not only because of the fact that he's got this program with Joe coming up, but also because of the fact that Shinsuke just beat Finn Balor in a match was basically a passing of the torch sort of thing. So Shinsuke is basically going to be the face of NXT going forward. So I think that's kind of going to play into the fact that Finn's going to probably get called up to either Raw or SmackDown, and Shinsuke will probably stay on NXT for a bit longer to be the face of NXT until they can find somebody else to fill that void. So now that I've gone through that, let's go through this interactive draft experience thing, and I'll make my own predictions before SmackDown Live kicks off in just a few hours. So let's get started. As I explained in a previous video, my camera is out of commission at the moment. I'm still waiting till I can afford to buy a new one. So unfortunately I'm doing this all sort of audio. But that's all fine anyway, because today's been hotter than any other day of the year. It's been absolutely scorching today. I'm covered in sweat. It wouldn't be a pretty sight anyway. So we've got the first superstar here, John Cena. He's either going to go to Raw or SmackDown. Personally, I think it's, Cena's time is up. It's somebody else's time now. I think Cena needs to go to SmackDown in order to actually, put over all the superstars. AJ Styles, I think, would flourish on SmackDown. There's kind of going to be too much sort of in the way of the main events for Raw with the way I'm going to do this. Now, Seth Rollins is part of the reason for that. I'm going to put him on Raw. Dean Ambrose, I can see losing the championship at Battleground, maybe to Seth, and going to SmackDown to be a top star there, maybe. Roman Reigns is a bit of an enigma when it comes to this, because of the fact that obviously we know Roman Reigns has been pushed hard by WWE for the last over a year, but at the same time, there's those reports that Vince McMahon may have fallen out of love with Roman Reigns a little bit. Even still, I'm going to put him on Raw, because it's still somebody else to keep in that Raw main event picture. Brock Lesnar as well, although he's not really going to be so much of a player and contender and stuff like that, as he's a part-timer. The New Day are going to count as one pick, obviously, because they said that tag teams go together unless the GM of that brand specifically only wants one member. So the New Day will go together, especially with the fact that they're still the tag team champions. In terms of where they're going to go, I'm going to say SmackDown, because I want SmackDown to be more sort of the young up-and-coming superstars, I guess. They're kind of building SmackDown up to be this fresh, new, innovative show, and I think that's probably the right way of building it. So for the same reason, I'm going to put Miz on Raw with the Intercontinental title. Randy Orton, I'll probably put on SmackDown to try and put over some of those sort of younger stars a bit more, because obviously with the younger stars trying to come up, you need to actually have the veterans there to put them over. Charlotte with the Women's Championship, I'm going to put on Raw. Okay, we've got an advert tap out there. Sasha Banks, I'm going to put on Raw because she's one of the top sort of women. Kevin Owens I'm going to put on SmackDown. There's a reason for that I'm going to get into a bit later. So, Kevin Owens on SmackDown. Okay, here's the reason why I put Kevin Owens on SmackDown. Owens and Zayn are the sort of people who are always going to be feuding with each other for as long as they're sort of around each other. They kind of have that sort of established. We already know the Cruiserweight division is going to be rebuilt and it's going to be on Raw. Sami Zayn is a perfect fit for that. So I want to split Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens up, but I also want to keep Sami Zayn on Raw, which is where the Cruiserweight division is going to be. So Sami Zayn going to Raw. Rusev with the US title. He's an up-and-comer. He's not been around as long as The Miz. He's not as stale as The Miz. And also because of the fact that I want to put the US title on a different brand to the Intercontinental title, Rusev's got to go to SmackDown. Cesaro, I think, would have plenty of room to flourish on SmackDown. Enzo and Cass is an interesting one because this is one of the teams I could see splitting up, but because I can't really split them up with this game, I'm going to have to pick one of the two shows. I'm probably going to say Raw because Enzo, if they do split them up and Vince wants to push Big Cass as this, main eventer, Enzo would be perfect for the cruiserweight division. So I'm going to say Raw. Big Show can be one of those veterans that puts over the young guys, so I'll say SmackDown for Big Show. Kane, the same thing, SmackDown. Jericho, again, could fill that role, but I'm feeling like SmackDown's getting a bit too clustered at this point, so I'm going to put Jericho on Raw. I mean, there's still room for the veterans to put over the young guys on Raw. There's not really enough women on SmackDown, and Becky Lynch is kind of floundering a bit, not involved in the women's title. So putting her on SmackDown will give her that freedom to actually be used in these non-title storylines and actually have a bit more TV time. I'm going to say the same thing goes for Paige. The Usos, I'm going to put on SmackDown. Like anyone cares about the Usos anyway. Sheamus can fill the same sort of role as Cena and Orton, so I'm going to say SmackDown. Del Rio I'm going to put on Raw because of the fact that the sort of upper mid-card / lower main event is kind of getting a bit full on SmackDown. Bray Wyatt, I think, should also go to SmackDown because of the fact that he could have more freedom. Braun Strowman needs Bray, as does Eric Rowan. Anderson and Gallows, probably going to put him on SmackDown because AJ's there. Apollo Crews is one of those up-and-comers. I'll put him on SmackDown. Alicia Fox, like anyone cares about Alicia Fox. The Ascension, like anyone cares about them. I don't think that really matters. Baron Corbin I'll put on Raw because I feel like there's more freedom with with the other people I've put on there. Breezango, I care about them, but most people don't, so I don't really care where they go. Dana Brooke, put her on SmackDown, screw it. Darren Young, Raw, since he's already feuding with the Intercontinental Champion. Dolph Ziggler's somebody else who could really use a lot more sort of freedom and exposure, so I'll put him on SmackDown. The Dudleys, well, they've been back for 11 months and no one really cares about them. I'll say SmackDown. Eva Marie, like anyone cares about her. Raw, screw it. Golden Truth, I'll put on Raw. Jack Swagger. No one cares about Swagger. Kalisto, right. Kalisto would be a perfect fit for the Cruiserweight division. Just like Sami Zayn, I think he could be one of the faces of the Cruiserweight division, so Raw. Mark Henry, the same sort of role as Big Show and Kane. The veteran putting over the younger guys. Naomi, no one cares about. Natalia, they're starting to use her and she's feuding with Becky Lynch, so because Becky's on SmackDown, I'll put Natalia on there. Neville, another person who'd be great for the Cruiserweight division. Sin Cara would be good for the Cruiserweight division, but because they made a big point of Kalisto and Sin Cara splitting up as a tag team, I think they should really have, sort of be a brand away from each other. So I'll put Sin Cara on SmackDown. He's not going to get pushed either way, so it doesn't really matter. Some Ray no one cares about. Titus O'Neil I want to put on a different brand to Darren Young, because when people split up, from teaming with each other, there's always that sort of lingering expectation that they could go back together, and I don't really want to see that. I'm not sure if Zack Ryder falls in the category of a cruiserweight, so I'm going to put him on Raw because I don't think there's enough mid-carders that I've put on there on Raw. So Shining Stars, no one cares about. Right, we've got Social Outcasts. No one cares about them. And the Vaudevillains, people do care about these guys. So, screw it. Okay, Raw's looking bleak compared to SmackDown. There we go. Alright, so we've got the fantasy draft sorted. So starting from the bottom, Raw has Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, The Miz and Maurice, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Sami Zayn, Enzo and Cass, Chris Jericho, Alberto Del Rio, Alicia Fox, The Ascension, Baron Corbin, Breezango, Darren Young, Eva Marie, Golden Truth, Jack Swagger, Kalisto, Neville, Zack Ryder, The Shining Stars, The Social Outcasts, and the Vaudevillains. Obviously, we've got a good mix of tag teams there. Some mid-carders, you got Darren Young, Baron Corbin, Del Rio, Jericho. We've got the main eventers, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar. We've got the cruiserweights in Enzo, Sami Zayn, Neville, Kalisto, possibly Zack Ryder. I'd have to check his weight. But on SmackDown, we've got John Cena, AJ Styles, Dean Ambrose, The New Day, Randy Orton, Kevin Owens, Rusev and Lana, Cesaro, The Big Show, Kane, Becky Lynch, Paige, The Usos, Sheamus, Bray Wyatt, Braun Strowman, Eric Rowan, Luke Harper and Luke Gallows and Kyle Anderson, Apollo Crews, Dana Brooke, Dolph Ziggler, The Dudley Boys, Mark Henry, Naomi, Natalya, Sin Cara, Summer Rae, and Titus O'Neil. Again, a good mix of tag teams, and we've got the people who we can build the brand around. So you got the Bray Wyatts, Kevin Owens, Ambrose, AJ Styles. We've got the veterans to put over the young guys, which will be Cena, Orton, Big Show, Kane, Mark Henry, Sheamus. We've got the club still together. I would actually put Finn Balor on Raw to keep him away from AJ Styles, because there's already that sort of expectation that they're going to be involved in a storyline together. And I personally would like to see Finn Balor get his own sort of identity on the WWE roster before he starts feuding with AJ Styles, because even though people who watch NXT know who Finn Balor is, people who watch New Japan know who he is, the casual WWE fan doesn't, so I would kind of establish him a bit before he starts feuding with AJ Styles or whatever. So I noticed Luke Harper isn't on here, which is a bit surprising. So I'd put Luke Harper on Raw, because out of all the members of the Wyatt family, he's the one person who can really, go at it on his own, apart from Bray, obviously. Strowman and Rowan, they need Bray. They don't really have the microphone skills. Harper does. They don't really have the in-ring skills. More so with Braun Strowman than Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan can hold a match together on his own better than Strowman can, but Luke Harper's just on a whole new level. He's probably, upper mid-card level, so I would put Luke Harper on Raw. It's a bit weird that he's not on this, but yeah. Drop a comment in the comment section below. Do you agree or disagree with any of my picks? Drop it in the comment section below. As you can see at the side, there's just another 3 hours until the draft. I'm going to go get ready, and I can't wait to see the draft. So comment down below, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.